Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day. The other day, I was reading a self-help book titled, How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and How to Start Living an Awesome Life. There's a chapter in the book on forgiveness, and it starts out with a quote. Forgiveness means giving up all hope for a better past. I want you all to think for a moment. When is the last time that you physically hurt yourself? Maybe you were riding your bike and accidentally fell and scraped up your knee. Or maybe you were rushing and hit your elbow on the door. Or maybe you bumped your head somehow. What's the first thing that we do in situations like these? We seek immediate medical attention. We grab an ice pack or a bandage, and we try to stop that pain as soon as we can. But what about when we hurt ourselves mentally? Do we do the same thing? Do we call up our therapist and say, hey, I'm not doing so good today. Can you fit me in for a session? Or do we dial our psychiatrist and go, I think I might have hurt myself mentally. Can you write me a prescription? No. Not only do we not give our mental injuries the proper attention that they need, we make the conscious effort to see just how bad we can get it by picking at that emotional scab. When someone breaks up with us, we get on their Facebook page and scroll through all their photos to see if they're really happy with that new person. And when someone cuts us off in traffic, we drive closely and think, who raised this jackrabbit who just cut me off? And when our family talks badly about us, we ask ourselves, how could they do that to us? Why would they do that to us? What made them do that to us? We relive our worst moments over and over again. But when we forgive, we blossom. The book gives 3 ways on how we can learn to forgive. Firstly, finding compassion. I want you all to think about that person who cut you off in traffic, or that person who broke up with you, or even that family member who talked badly about you. Get a good mental image of this person. And now, imagine them as a child. Young, kind, and innocent. Someone had to teach that child something in order for them to grow up and hurt you. So can we really blame them when they're just doing what they were taught? When you find true compassion, you can really learn how to forgive. Secondly, remove that person from the equation. Imagine that your babysitter canceled on you right before you had a big meeting. She calls you and says, hey, I'm not going to be able to help you out today. Sorry. Now you could resent her and think, how could she do this to me? She knew I had this meeting planned for months. Or you could remove her from the situation and focus on the issue at hand. You still need to find a babysitter. When we remove that person from the equation, it allows us to have a clear and concise understanding on how to solve the problem. And besides, when there's no one to be mad at, it's really hard to stay mad. And third, forget about it. Can you all give me an example of a time where something upset you 10 years ago? Probably not. And you should treat your issues of today that same exact way. In 10 years, will you remember that person who cut you off in traffic? Will you care about the person who broke up with you? And will it even matter that that person in your family talked badly about you? It won't. Holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting that other person to die. And sometimes it's better to be happy than to be right. So the next time you find yourself in a situation where it's really hard to forgive, remember, find compassion, remove that person from the situation, and ultimately, forget about it. Mr. Toastmaster.